So let me look at this real quick. So Ian says, had a breakup with a girl because she didn't think I was serious about marriage. You guys advised me to move on. Now she's coming back and serious about it. How do you decide whether to take an ex back? That's pretty good. And a lot of times, you know, she, when you say, okay, I'm out, you know, and you move on and have a great life, girls do go, oh, I was too hasty in denying him and refusing him.
The question is, do you want to get married?
Yeah.
And if you do, then you take her back. And if not, you don't waste either of your time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that simple.
Well, and we talk about this even with our own kids who are, you know, of the kind of dating, serious marriage kind of things. He says, yes, I do want to get married. Huh. The bottom line is, if you are of an age and a mindset to kind of be in that space where you're theoretically ready to get married, if you circle back to someone who you had dated and were thinking about marriage and then didn't end up, you know, staying with, if you go back to them, it's with the expectation that then you are going to marry that person. Otherwise, you're wasting both of your time.
Yeah, and let me convey, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Guys are not on board, or they may not even be aware she wants to get married. And I mean, some people's communication isn't that great.
It's true.
And she wants to get married. He just likes having sex regularly, and he thinks that they have a great relationship.
Yeah.
But he hasn't popped the question after 2 years, seems to be the line.
Yeah.
And so she'll break up with him. She never tells him why she breaks up.
Exactly.
He's just sitting around dumbfounded. Now he's trying to get over it. And then, you know, her girlfriend will come up and go, well, you know, Tammy wants to get married. You go, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. To me? You know, I mean, they will be. I mean, men are that clueless about the stuff you know, we know, but we've experienced a lot too.
Yeah.
So younger guys or inexperienced guys don't realize that, you know, it's boyfriend, engagement, wedding, house, babies. That's the girl blueprint. But guys get caught off guard by this all the time. All the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not unusual for guys and girls to break up because she wants to get married. He either doesn't know or doesn't want to at the time, and then he changes his mind. That's okay too, you know.
Right.
He may not. Most guys are a little bit behind on where they're at as a relationship.
Yeah.
Because most guys are pretty happy with whatever they have in front of them.
It's true, or they wouldn't be there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I hope this helps. Yeah. He said, I've heard things like that before. You shouldn't take her ex back because she'll always be her second. It'll always be her second choice. You know,
life's messier than that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and you know, we're not even of the mind, you know, of that's not always the best policy. You can take an ex back and have fun, and plenty of people have broken up and gotten back together and turned out just fine.
Yeah.
So it's really a case by case basis. What you're usually getting this from is guys that are kind of bitter because they got dumped.
Yeah.
Most guys get dumped at some point, and she's gone.
Yeah.
You know, but you living your best life, you know, is really what you should do, and then take that on a case by case basis. There is no hard and fast rules in this world because you're dealing with people and behaviors.
And make no mistake, we have definitely been in the camp where we've said multiple times, never take an ex back. I want to differentiate kind of what we're talking about there, and it kind of piggybacks on what Fort Worth just said. If you are just fucking around, if you're not trying to get married, things like that, if you're just trying to live your best life and bang a lot of girls, and some girl spins off and breaks up and goes and, you know, fucks the basketball team or whatever, and then tries to circle back, we say, you know, if you want to take her back for fucking and for fun, great, have at it. That's up to you. But don't ever take her seriously as far as a relationship goes. Now, in cases like where, and we've talked about cases like this too, where, you know, you guys talked about marriage or you didn't talk about marriage, but that's kind of where both of you were heading, but you weren't communicating that enough to know that. And that's kind of why you broke up, was because you wanted to get married and you didn't think the other one was on board. And then you kind of find out that you were on board with that.
Yeah.
It's almost like you reset to when you split. Now, I will say, no matter the circumstance, whatever really broke you up, if it was fighting, if it was jealousy, if it was any kind of things like that, beyond just like, I really was ready to get married and I didn't think you were, will rear its ugly head immediately, literally within the week of getting back together. And it never starts at zero. It starts back where you were when you broke up. So make no mistake, don't have rose-colored glasses about getting back together with someone in a serious way. Really think about, is what broke you up really, and only you know that, is that something that you can live with for the rest of your life if you get back together, if you get married, if you carry on as if nothing had ever happened? And if so, then here's our blessing.
and make no mistake, quite often it's this marriage thing is the dividing line. The people are completely fine, but she has an idea in her head of what should be happening, and he has no idea.
Right.
She's thinking any of this.
Yeah.
Like none.
Yeah.
And it's all going on in her head, or maybe in her head and with her friends or with her family. But he is completely clueless. And if that's the case, usually there's a miscommunication or a lack of communication. Once the communication gets made, things tend to start falling into place.
Yeah.
Because he truly didn't know.
Yeah.
God,
and he says he has to think about what the real reasons were. And that's, you know, a good kind of process to go through. But if it truly was,
just didn't know.
Yeah, because you didn't know, great. If it was because there were other underlying factors that were really splitting you apart, getting married is not going to fix that.
Sure.